Everyone. It is Friday, April 2nd. We all made it through April Fool's Day yesterday. And this is another edition of Inspire Me. I am using a different platform this morning. We are trying out a new platform that will allow us to stream live to Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. So you may be watching me on either of those locations, but if you are, my name is Erin. I am the shop manager here at Dances with Wool, which is a yarn store located in Central Virginia, just outside the city of Richmond. And this is our weekly Inspire Me segment. So real quick before we get started, as always, we want to remind you all the different ways that you can shop with us. We are open for in-person shopping Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. are our normal shopping hours. You do not need an appointment to come in and shop. You do need your mask. There is still a mask mandate going on in Virginia. We're very excited about vaccines rolling out, but we know there's a lot of folks, myself included, who still have not had the opportunity to be vaccinated yet. So mask mandate still in place, mask over your nose and mouth the whole time you're in the shop. We do also have an online store. You can find that on our website. Most everything that's in the shop is available online. And we offer flat rate shipping as well as curbside or in-store pickup. So lots of different options there. You can book virtual shopping appointments with us on our website. And you can also book private in-person shopping appointments if you would like to come into the store to shop in person, but you need to be careful about your exposure levels. We offer those a few times a week. So all that information can be found on our website. The website should be linked right there. But Debbie is also monitoring the comments, and I'm sure she'll put a link to it there as well. Before we get started, a couple of things to remind you of. It is Free Ship Friday. So the first Friday of every month, we do offer free shipping on our website. You do need to use the promo code FREESHIP, FREESHIP, all capitals, and that will get you free shipping on your order throughout today. We also want to make sure everybody knows that tickets have gone on sale for our Melanie Berg virtual event. We're very excited. We're partnering with Center of the Yarniverse up in Ashland to bring an event with Melanie to you all. That will be on Sunday, April 25th at 2 p.m. Tickets are currently available on sale on our website. It is a virtual event, but seats are still limited, guys. So if you are interested in attending that talk by Melanie, she's going to talk about her design process. She'll talk about her shawls. She's going to show you some ways to wear your shawls, which I think is always a great bit of insight to get from people. If you're interested in attending that event, we do urge you to go and purchase your tickets. They are $20, and you can find that on our website. So today, we are going to talk about a new yarn that has arrived in the shop here recently. It's called Hinterland by Life in the Long Grass. So Life in the Long Grass is an Irish dyer. We have a good deal of their fine sock that's behind me right here on the wall, but this is a new base that we haven't carried before from them. And so we're very excited to get this base in. This is a blend of 75% BFL and 25% Gotland, non-superwash yarn. I may have just said a bunch of things that sound like gobbledygook to you. So we're going to have a little bit of a talk about this yarn today and what makes it different and what makes it special. So BFL is actually an acronym that stands for Blueface Leicester. It is a variety of sheep that comes from England. And I'm going to be talking to you today and showing you some pictures out of this book. This is called the Fleece and Fiber Sourcebook by Deb Robson and Carol, I think her last name is pronounced Ekarius. So this is kind of the hand spinner's Bible. There's a ton of information in this book, more than 200 breeds of yarn, of animals, everything from sheep to llamas to yak to all kinds of things. It is geared, I think, a little bit more towards the hand spinners, but if you are a knitter or crocheter, this is a fabulous book. If you're at all interested in the wonderful world of wool out there that goes beyond superwash merino yarns, then this is a great book to have. But these are Blueface Leicester sheep. So Blueface Leicester, but it's pronounced Leicester. I know that looks weird. They call them bunny sheep. You can see their great big ears. But Blueface Leicester has a much longer staple length than the average merino yarn. So I'm going to bring this up here. So a staple is the length of fleece that a sheep can grow in a year, basically. It's the gist of things. And so you can see these individual locks. These are individual locks taken out of a BFL fleece. And you can see that these are long. These are actually, on average, they go anywhere from 3 to 6 inches, which is pretty long. A merino sheep can only grow about 1.5 inches to maybe 3 inches max in a year. So these are a lot longer. You can see how curly they are. And the breed was developed in England as early as the late 1700s. They're part of a family of sheep called the Leicester Lawn Wools. So their wool is long. It has a lot of shine to it. It's got those curls, those really distinctive curls or waves, which gives their wool a lot of bounce to it. You talk about things being bouncy, wool having a lot of really good stitch definition. And having some shine. When you dye it, it's almost like there's a little bit of silk blended in them. Those are the Leicester Lawn Wools. And so BFL fleece, sometimes people call it nature's sock yarn. You might have heard people say that. So because it's a longer staple length, it's a harder wearing wool. And so a lot of times you can actually knit socks in yarn that does not have any nylon in it. And that's going to be something you can use Hinterland for. But that's the BFL, the Blueface Leicester portion of this yarn. The other breed that contributes to this yarn is called the Gotland sheep. And Gotlands were actually developed in Sweden. So they are part of what's called the Northern European short-tailed family of sheep, which is all kind of it's a bit of a mouthful. But basically, Gotlands were developed in Sweden, and I'm trying to find, I should have marked this page, but they are, again, a longer length fiber. There we go. They look like this. There's Gotland sheep. So again, they have a longer staple length, and I actually own a little bit of Gotland fleece. So I can show you what Gotland looks like. So again, longer staple length. This is fairly short, actually. They can average anywhere up to about 7 inches long, but they're typically shorn a couple times a year just to keep it shorter like this so it's easier to work with. But you can see these curls. And if I stretch it, you can start to see how long this lock actually is. So Gotland's fleece are more similar to the BFL and the Leicester Lawn Wools. Again, it's got a lot of curls, it's got a lot of luster to it, a little bit of shine, and they are always gray. Gotland's are pretty much always gray, anything from a very pale gray up to very, very dark gray like what I have here, which when you talk about the Hinterland, the base skeins that this yarn is before they put these colors on, they are actually gray skeins. So when they dye, they're actually over dyeing gray, and it gives this really beautiful depth of color to these skeins that you're not going to necessarily get when you're talking about dyeing on white, bright white yarn. You can really see it. This is a good color that you can really kind of see the depth there. You can see the darker tones, and that's all from the fact that they are over dyeing gray skeins. So what does this all mean in terms of this yarn? This yarn is definitely going to be more rustic. You're going to feel it when you pick these skeins up. These are not, kitten soft superwash merino skeins. They're not superwash to begin with, so they are going to have those scales. That's what superwash means. Superwash means that the scales on the outside of the wool fibers have been removed. There's a couple different ways you can do that. That's what allows you to potentially put the item in the washing machine, because those scales are what grab onto each other and cause felting. So this has not had those scales removed. It's going to give it a little bit of a halo. That comes from it being a non-superwash yarn. And like I said, it's going to feel more rustic. It's not super soft, but this yarn is going to wear like iron. We all love those super soft merino yarns. You know, I do too. We love them because they're soft. We love them because most of the time merino wool is white, which means that they take color really brightly and beautifully. However, there is a relationship between softness and pilling, which is something everybody just loves about their garments. Everybody loves those little pills that you get on your garments, right? And on your hats and things like that. Generally speaking, the softer and finer a fiber is, the more it is going to pill. It's just going to pill. That's the reality of things. You can do a couple of different things to try to mitigate it, but you're never going to get away from it. So that beautiful, super soft merino sweater is going to pill. You're going to have to just accept that. However, yarn like this that is a longer staple length and has less of that fineness to it, it's more of a medium fineness, is going to really, really wear beautifully. So if you're looking for something that's going to give you a garment going to pitch and it's going to be a little bit hard wearing, this is going to be something that you're going to want to work with. Debbie's looking at me like there's a question. I can't see any questions.
Yeah, Christina Colbeck wants to know what color that is. She loves it.
What color? This is called gray cerulean. Gray cerulean. You can see all the colors on our website. The Life of the Long Grass is linked there. You can find it under yarn, under fingering weight. This is a fingering weight yarn. All right. So this will be great for things like, you can knit socks out of this. Even though there is no nylon in this yarn, you can absolutely use it for socks. The lawn staple length of the BFL plus the Gotland means that you can totally knit socks with no nylon in it. This would also be great for maybe things that don't necessarily go right up against your skin. If you're a little sensitive, I wouldn't necessarily knit like a close fitting cowl that's going to sit right up against the back of your neck, which tends to be the most sensitive area of your body. But something like a hat, a pair of mittens, this would be great for mittens. Keep your hands nice and warm and you don't have to worry about felting. This would also be great for sweaters that are either an outer garment, so something like a cardigan, or something that's designed to be a layering piece that you are going to wear on top of another piece of clothing. So I am getting ready to knit this pattern. This is called Rift by Jacqueline Cieslak. It is a tee, basically. You can put sleeves on it. This is the short sleeve version of the sweater. But it is designed, again, it's a slightly cropped sweater. It's designed to be a layering piece to go over a dress or a tunic or a tank top or things. It's knit at a much looser gauge. So you can see, this is my swatch, which does live in the shop, by the way, if you want to come and feel. The yarn does bloom a little bit, which means that it puffs up a little bit when you block it. So if you're going to swatch for a garment in this yarn, I absolutely would block that swatch because you want to make sure that you know how much puff essentially you're going to get. You can see that this has been done at a looser gauge. This is going to be kind of an airy garment, but that's going to be really nice with this wool because wool actually is temperature regulating. It will help keep you cooler in the summer, believe it or not, and warmer in the winter, but you have to be smart about how you use it. You don't necessarily want to knit a really tight gauge sweater and then try to wear it in the summertime, but something like this that's got a really nice, loose, beautiful drapey fabric layered over top of a dress will absolutely help to keep you cooler in the summer, believe it or not. So that is what I'm going to be working on. Debbie actually has pulled a few skeins to do this sweater. This is called Flower Buds by Astrid Troland. And this has got a beautiful textured stitch. And you might not be able to necessarily, you can see it on the camera, but that's where, again, this yarn is going to shine because it's going to show off this beautiful texture on this sweater really, really well. I think Debbie, is this the color, this purple? I believe this is the color that Debbie picked for hers. This is called Ultra. So there are a lot of things that you can do with this yarn, even though it is not the super, super soft, oh, it's like knitting with kittens. And we all love that. but I really encourage you to get outside the box a little bit. If your only experience working with wool is to work with those really super soft, superwash merino skeins, I really encourage you to come on in and take a look at this yarn, Hinterland by Life in the Long Grass. I think this is a nice introduction to a more rustic, non-superwash, 100% wool yarn. It is going to have, like I said, a little bit of silk. It is definitely, you feel it in the skein. It's not super soft. I'm not going to lie and tell you that, oh no, this is totally great. It's totally soft. I can wear it up against my neck, but I've been working with wool for a long time. So I have probably a higher tolerance than maybe some other people. But definitely think about doing something with this. Again, that doesn't involve it sitting real close to your neck. Make a layering piece, do a hat, a pair of mittens, a pair of socks, and get a chance to experience something beyond your standard run-of-the-mill superwash merino yarns. And like I said, there's a whole world of wool out there. No joke, there's like 150 breeds of sheep in this book. So there is a ton of things out there, and there's a lot of great resources. This book you can actually find on Amazon. The Kindle, you can get it on your Kindle. So that would be great. This is it's a pretty big book. So you may want to look at maybe getting it on your Kindle if you don't necessarily feel like you need to have the hardcover. There's another couple of places that I recommend if you're interested in learning more about wool and breeds of sheep and what makes different breeds, unique and what's out there. I would recommend checking out the Livestock Conservancy. They have this Shave 'em to Save 'em program. So while there are 150 breeds of sheep, probably more than that in the world, a lot of them are in danger of going away. We're losing a lot of diversity in the sheep world because what does everybody want? Everybody wants superwash merino. And so there's a real urgency in some cases with some of these breeds that we don't end up losing them. And the best way to keep them around is to use their wool, make things out of it. And so the Shave 'em to Save 'em initiative, you can find more information. Debbie's going to link that in the comments below, but I really recommend checking them out. And they've got the Livestock Conservancy is just a great resource for learning about all different kinds of breeds of sheep. I also really recommend the author Clara Parkes, Parkes. Clara's got a website that we're going to link, but she's an author. She has a website, books, Instagram. She just kicked off a new initiative called the Wool Channel, but Clara's been a real champion of wool. And all the great things you can do with it. Wool is actually really great in terms of the environment. It's a very sustainable fiber to use, much more so than some other things that are floating around out there. And so you can learn a lot from looking at Clara's books and her website and everything. So I really recommend that you do that. There's so much interesting things to learn out there about wool. I'm a huge wool fan. If you don't know, my license plate says Wool Girl on my car. So I encourage everybody to get out there and to learn more about what you can find, what's out there. So just a reminder that our next Inspire Me on next week on Friday, we will be doing a preview of the Emma's Yarn Trunk Show. We're very excited to get that in, and we will be giving you the scoop on everything that she sent, samples and yarns and things. And then our next episode of This Is So Not a Podcast is coming up. It is going to be live on YouTube on Monday, April 12th at 1 p.m. So you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, sign up for our email newsletter on our website. There's a button pretty close to the top of the page. You can do that so you can keep up with everything that we have going on. We hope everybody has a great weekend, enjoying what might be the last gasp of winter, but hey, we're knitters and crocheters. We can layer up and we are prepared for things like this. So hope everybody has a great weekend and we will see you next time.